Welcome back to another video review, ladies and gentlemen, here on techgooch. And I'm here to show you a monitor that I had recently purchased to replace my last monitor for my Mac Mini that actually started dying on me. And then it actually just wouldn't turn on. So I came down to it. This is a 4K monitor from Dell. It's a 28-inch monitor. The model is the S2817Q. So I actually got a really good price on it. Basically, they price matched Amazon $379.99. So for a 4K 28-inch monitor for $380, well, you can't go wrong, right? Well, yes, you can. And I will actually show you the monitor here shortly. I do have it set up right over there. This is just the box. But there are some major flaws in terms of this monitor that I am not happy with. I'm actually getting this replaced with a different model because I'm that unhappy with it. I'll kind of go through those when I actually bring the monitor up here as well. So let's do that. Let me get the monitor over here so we can actually show you a little bit about what I'm talking about and what I don't like about it. And of course, I mean, what I do like, it is a 4K monitor. But that said, the dislikes actually outweigh the likes. So let's bring it on over. So here's the monitor. I don't have it turned on yet because I have all the cables kind of spread out here. I will actually connect to a computer so you can kind of see it on as well. Although video of a screen is never going to be great anyway, so I'm going to talk about it before that. First, cables that it comes with. Power cable, necessary. It does come with a USB cable, USB 3.0, because there are actual USB 3.0 ports that it can actually share. They're all on the bottom. So there are two ports kind of off to the side. Maybe what I'll do is I'll get a little closer on this. But the ports on the side down here, two HDMI connections, a display port, and a mini display port. Those are going to be the video service connections for a computer or anything that you want to connect to it. It does come with a HDMI cable as well as a display port to mini display port cable. So it does come with a few connection cables that should get you by with most setups. When I first pulled it out of the package, nothing but great things about that, to be honest. The stand, fairly basic. I actually like the look of it. And that's kind of when I started running into things I didn't like. The buttons are on the bottom. So right down here, there are 4 buttons plus a power button. None of them are labeled. So the only way to find out what they do is by pushing them. I'm not a big fan of that. But I can see, okay, once I memorized it, okay. Quality of the buttons is also hard to get over. In order to find out if the monitor is on without actually having something on, you have to make sure you see the light. It's kind of hard to see the light unless you got to put your hand underneath there and actually see the shine. So I'll show you that as well. The menu system, it's kind of a pain in the butt to actually flip between connections. So there is an auto mode that it'll automatically turn on to the connection that is currently present or currently has a signal coming to it. However, if you have multiple things plugged into it, that doesn't work so well. So it's kind of a pain to actually switch between them. One of those 4 buttons should be an input button where I can just push that button over and over again and switch between inputs. That is not the case, and I really dislike that. But the quality of the buttons more than anything else kind of disturbed me a little bit, I guess. That said, plastic around the moldings, things like that. The look of the back of the monitor which is pretty sleek, to be honest. And for $380, I wasn't gonna go all crazy on it because, well, to be honest, for $380, it's not a bad monitor. It's a 4K monitor. I'll get better view, rendering when I'm doing my video to see it actually get as close to 4K as possible. Especially when I get a better computer that actually can do 4K very well. That is kind of where it stops. The problem is this is not an IPS panel. This is a TN panel. You have to basically be looking at this at 90 degrees straight on to have a really good signal, especially when you talk about colors and actually doing any kind of color correction. If you are saying at any angle outside of basically that straight on look, you will have degradation. And it is really bad. I do a lot of those when you kind of walk up to your chair, you just put your knee on the chair and get the mouse out real quick. So I'm actually elevated slightly. This thing does not do good at elevation. Side to side is not so good. Up and down is really bad. And I will try to mimic that maybe here shortly as well. But that's what really got me. And of course, my really bad is you can still see it, but you're degrading the colors substantially. So trying to do any kind of video editing and color correction, if you're not looking directly straight on into the middle of the monitor, is terrible. And I think Dell knows that, because this is definitely more, this is more their basic budget-oriented monitors. And of course, it's my fault for not really doing as much research into it, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of reviews on this monitor. So I am replacing this with one of their more premium 4K monitors. It's an inch smaller, so I'm hoping to have a better video for that one when I do that one. So, and I haven't really done a whole lot of monitor reviews because I only do the reviews of products that I get. So I will say this, it's good looking for $380. It's not a bad monitor. If it had an IPS display, I think that would, for $380, no doubt, I would have kept it because it's really good for the price. Other than the display is terrible. The buttons I can live with. And I was planning on living with, but yeah, the monitor display itself is not that good. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Mac Mini connected to this so you can at least see something on it. All right. Okay, so you're not going to see me so much as you're going to see the monitor itself. I tried to zoom in on it at least a little bit where you get an idea. So here's my Mac desktop. I'm actually not running in 4K because my Mac Mini doesn't do 4K. It does the 2560 by 1440. So it's running in actually a pretty high resolution standard, and just to verify that, I'll pull up the settings with my displays. So we are seeing 2560 by 1440. The Mac Mini does not do 4K. It's not designed for it. I can make it do it, but it's pushing it kind of to its limits. So this is my desktop, and the best way to describe this is I'm just going to keep it on the desktop, but I'm just going to kind of move it around a little bit. And the worst you'll notice, and I'm hoping that it shows up on the video at least, is if I tilt it at any kind of angle this way, you start losing a lot in color depth, and it's going to be the same going this way. Now, I don't know how much you'll see side to side, but it's definitely more subtle going side to side. So, and response time isn't bad. I will say, like I said before, I'm going to go through the menu system, which I think is a joke, or at least just the navigating of it. So if I push a button, it'll tell me what each of these 4 buttons do, and this one will close it down again. So I'll bring it up. Let's go to the far left one. This is going to be preset modes where I can change the colors, within presets. And there are other ones that work better. I'm just going to I have it in standard currently. If I hit this again, sound, this is where I can actually change the sound. There are speakers built into this monitor, which I was surprised actually at first. Not quality sound, to be honest. And I can probably try to mimic that here shortly. And then lastly, let's hit that one. This is where I can actually change. If I go down to input source, this is where I can actually change for my input source. This is my biggest pet peeve. I wish there was a button that I could just change this automatically. I can change the color, the display, everything else is all in here. There is a picture-in-picture mode. You can actually disable the speaker within here, the energy. So it actually, you can try to save energy by having it turn off automatically. The shortcut keys. I guess I've never even tried. I guess you could try. There we go. I could do it within 2 presses. So I could, rather than preset modes, I can go into input. There we go. Let's go to display port. So now if I hit this, there we go. It'll automatically go to display port. So I guess you can make it into a quick mode. I guess I didn't see that before. That's my fault on that one. I'm still not the fan. They're pretty cheap buttons down here. And like I said, you can't tell it's on unless I actually kind of get my hand down here and see the light. Unless you're sitting below it and you actually can see this. It's right down here. You can kind of see it on my finger there. So capability of this monitor, not bad, but the thing, like I said, the thing that actually took me away from was the display itself. You lose a lot of colors, you lose a lot of saturation by going from any kind of angle. And of course, I'm hoping to change that with the new monitor that I'm having coming soon, so you'll see a review on that one soon as well. Okay, so like I said, I did want to show you this real quick on the monitor. Hopefully you can see this decently. We have the USB ports on the side over here, and this is where we have the two HDMIs, the display port, and the mini display port inputs on the actual monitor itself. The actual stand, there is a button. Kind of have to have a screwdriver to push to release the stand, so it actually does clip into place. I've actually never taken it off. Alright, so I'm going to do my best. As you see the mirror of my garbage room, there's a small button in there, and I'm using a small screwdriver, or a standard size screwdriver. Yep, I can feel the button. Alright, so you have to have the monitor as tilted forward as you can. I'm going to try to pry up on it as I push up. So I push the button in, and I pry up maybe. Boy, it's not easy to do, to be honest. They did not put that in a good location. There it goes. So, and it does hold itself decently. So I'm going to zoom back out here so you can kind of see more of it. So I'm just going to lift off the base. And there we go. So you're going to see this is how the stand comes as well. So there's a metal bracket that actually just slides right into this, and then there's that button right there that releases it. So I'm going to keep it on there for now before I send it back. So good news is I ate my words on that one, right on the button. I'm glad I saw that. I honestly just didn't see it before, but then again I just didn't like the menu system. I'm not a big fan. The buttons just feel cheap. They're just little small little plastic knobs, so I didn't like to go through the menu very much. But that said, that was not the reason I didn't like the monitor. The reason I didn't like the monitor was the viewing angle is pretty ferocious in my opinion. But then again, for the price that the monitor is at, I was over expecting, I guess, out of it. So that said, it's not it's not one of their high-end monitors. It's a basic, but it is a 4K monitor. So if you're okay with the limitations that I showed you here, and obviously you look at the video feed. Of course, it's video feed of a monitor, so it's hit or miss there. That said, if you're happy with it, by all means. Can I say I give it a high recommendation? No. If it was a little bit cheaper, then maybe I would, but even at that close to $400 mark, it's a lot of money to spend on a monitor that doesn't have good viewing angles. Put an IPS display in it. Put an IPS display in it so you don't have that. It's well worth $400, $450, which is, I think, where it typically sits, is about that $450. That's kind of that price point. I think it's a $500 monitor. Usually it's for $430 to $450. You can find it for about $380. So at least at this point. So that said, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking it out. I wanted to show you guys this before I actually sent it back, because it's going back to Dell while the other one's on its way to me right now. So I can't wait to show you the next one. But that said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting, subscribing, and liking the video and sharing it. We hope to, or at least I hope to show you more in the future. So thanks for stopping by, guys. And if you have anything else to say, that's what the comment section below for it. And I try to keep up on it as best I can. But I am a busy person, so if it takes me a couple days, I apologize. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll catch you on the next video.